Yeah. Bring the thing back on. All right. So just to report on what I've been doing last couple weeks, I am behind on the new homeowner mailing, so I don't know how many houses were sold in July, and I'll catch that up for our September meeting.
Fine.
Yep. The newsletter, kept me busy. The deadline for that was Friday. It has been proofed. It is in design right now. I think I had 22 articles. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of chasing down. I have been having to write the spotlight one. The person who was the WBA person to write it. Dan used to do it, and then somebody else, I forget her name. So I've just been doing it. It's actually, I don't mind. It's nice going and talking to the businesses, but it just adds.
Who's the spotlight this time?
Beehive.
Oh, okay.
The WBA chooses who, and we try to go back and forth, or they do, between the depot and New Preston and services and storefront, and just try to get a good smattering. I also spoke with Jim about the cover article. Actually did a photo shoot yesterday. I hope the picture works, and it is in front of your house. You will recognize it. But the cover article is about keeping Washington safe. It's about speeding cars, and it's going to
all the revelry going to steep rock.
Well, what I did is it was a nice open, like an open straightaway, and I planted some pedestrians and bicyclists and called in the troops. Anyway,
So put a couple horse riders, because I get people on.
Oh, I
people on horseback.
No,
I'm seriously, they literally ride in front of my house.
I've seen them actually.
Oh,
Like,
go down steep rock.
Going through?
Nope,
No.
just take it on the road.
Yep, I've seen them ride right into the depot, which I would never
Yeah,
advise.
there's a
but-
couple here, they have a couple Icelandic ponies, they ride them around, they ride them all the time.
So, but anyway, so the cover article is gonna be about the new electronic speeding monitors that are coming into play, so that's, yeah. So anyway, that's in design right now, and it will be out for September 1st. Arts Council has been busy meeting, trying to think, they have figured out what they want to do for the Harvest Fest. The goal, they really, kind of honed in on making sure that they are bringing some kind of interactive art, something to the three main townwide events. So by supporting local artists to come and either play music or do some kind of interactive experience. They're looking at a drum circle possibly for the Harvest Fest, and yeah. So anyway, and also working on a gallery tour for late September. Hopefully that'll come together. I'm not sure. Anyway, so lots of good stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about their conversation under new business. Affordable housing. The Housing Commission didn't meet this month, but I did just want to let you all know that Sunday, August 25th, Habitat is having an open house. From 1 to 3. Oh, yeah, Trisha, when she's here, we'll do the minutes. So they're gonna be opening up one of the homes, and if you're curious.
On my Gate Road.
Yep, on my field off on the Gap, but
Right.
yes. 1,500 square foot houses, 2 bedrooms and a den. I know a lot of people have been curious about what these houses look like, so they're gonna do nothing else if anybody would like to see them. Yeah. All right, this is, so for sustainability, we met last week, but we had met the month before too. And we talked a little bit about how we wanted to reach out to all of our landscaping companies about going electric, so to reduce the noise and the pollution. And I had told them I would get a list of all the businesses from the assessor so that we could try to identify them. And I did get a list of the businesses from the assessor.
That's a list?
Yeah, yes, so 631 listed. So, yeah, so I know, Wayne, you have experience with the assessor. So every LLC is listed here.
Right.
doesn't mean, these aren't all storefronts, obviously, we don't have 631 storefronts, and it's the storefronts that we usually think of, or services, but you know, that are visible, that hang a shingle. So. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go through all of it, but I thought it would be sort of a useful exercise for me to just kind of see what all's going on here.
Well, a lot of the LLCs probably have the same address. It's like a lot of people open LLCs as like, well, I don't mean this in a derogatory fashion, but like, shell companies.
Right,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
So,
right,
you might have 4 or 5 LLCs all at the same address and it's a residence. And
Right.
they're limited liability companies in name only for somebody's tax purposes.
Right.
So it's-
so yeah,
A
so
lot
I'm
of
gonna
our
try to
residents.
weed through that. One thing I thought that was interesting. Is that there's a business type category, and they do have service, leasing, manufacturer. They have some retail, some categories,
Mhm.
but most of these don't have a category. And so, yeah, just kind of going through, I don't know if it's because it wasn't entered when they were entered, because some of them seem pretty,
Sometimes it's not,
Straightforward.
sometimes it's not helpful, when I've done research for the plan and for whatever, like, I've culled through Department of Labor statistics, which are kind of helpful because the Department of Labor statistics are actually hard data. Every month, they actually count how many people are on a payroll,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but their categories defied logic sometimes. It's like, I'll give you 2 great examples right here in town. It's like, Chappaqua is not considered a school. It's a government agency.
Hmm,
And the Glenholm School is a healthcare facility. It is not a school. But if you go out in the plaza right now and you pick 10 people at random and you ask them what Chappaqua and Glenholm are, they'll tell you they're schools because they're schools. Students go there, they get diplomas, they go to classes.
Right,
It's
right,
like-
right.
But according to the Department of Labor, the 2 largest employers in our town, which is Region 12 and Glenholm, that's 1 and 2, are not schools.
Yeah, I remember asking you about that, because healthcare was huge, and I was like, healthcare, but it was because of Deborah, so. Yeah, so anyway,
So
I
that
don't,
what I'm saying is that those categories, they might not help you.
they
out.
might not, so I'm gonna take a look at it, I'm gonna try to identify the landscaping companies for the sustainability. Committee and, see if there's anything else I can kind of glean from this, but I don't know, it seems sort of a. Fraught exercise, so we'll see.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of these, the state. So I have the property location, but they also, their billing, I guess, or whatever, aren't even in state. We got Georgia, we got New York, Pennsylvania, Kentucky. I don't know.
We've got an outside billing company that
Right.
handles it all.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, for example,
Doesn't
like
tell you much.
ADP. Which isn't ADP that like security?
Security.
Yeah, so they're here, they're registered in New Jersey. I mean, so if you're doing business in the town, you have to register in the town?
I don't,
I didn't see.
Like,
that.
why are they there?
they might have a rep who's here.
Yeah, oh, right.
They might have a rep who's working remotely.
Okay,
you know?
interesting.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so some of those questions, I wanna just sit with the assessor and understand it better, because I just don't even.
Yeah,
Really?
if they have a rep who's working remotely, and if they're paying taxes on any of his equipment, then they've gotta,
Register,
then they've gotta be on the list.
got it, all right, interesting, well, all right, so. That's something that I will possibly be working on over the next month or
Yeah,
so.
it's like that Snickers commercial, not going anywhere for a while.
No, long, yeah, we'll see. All right, moving on.
You wanna do the minutes as long as we have a
Oh,
quorum?
yeah, that's right. Trisha's here. Fran, can you hear us? You keep like logging in and logging out. Trisha, can you hear
Yeah,
us?
mute or something.
I can, yes.
Yes, okay, I don't know about Fran.
Well, she might just have us on the screen.
Yeah, it's possible. Sometimes she has issues, pulls up, she does it on her phone. I don't know if she gets better sound on her phone. Anyway, now that we have a quorum, well, but I don't really have.
Yeah, we do.
I?
She just unmuted, so.
Okay, so, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 16th?
So moved.
Thank you, Wayne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Excellent, Rudy, thank you. All in favor?
Aye, great.
Yay. Oh, I'm supposed to ask any corrections.
Oh, they're great. They're wonderful.
Thank you.
Art.
All right. Great. Thank you. Moving back to the agenda. So the depot walk that Wayne was able to join us for was actually, it was interesting, and I'm really looking forward to the report that comes out of it. It was a combination of Rista, who's the economic development person from the Northwest Hills COG, and then representatives from CT Main Street. And Kevin joined us for a while. Jim was supposed to, but he was putting out fires that day, not literal fires, but he was dealing with some issues. But Kevin was able to join us for a bit, and I appreciated that, because sidewalks and roads.
He actually gave the CT guys some good feedback. It was, you know. I kind of felt for the two folks from Main Street, because, you know, they go to all these small towns and they think that they're all kind of the same, but then they learn real fast that they're not. And, you know, and I remember his head snapping back when we told him that there was no public water or sewer in the town. And he was like, and I said, the entire town is septic and well. And they're like, oh, and I could just see the wheels inside going, oh, I'm really gonna have to rethink of what we're gonna do here, because they're like, oh, we're gonna do this and this and this, and we're like, well, you can't do that.
No, you can't. Actually, right, I know. So it was a interesting conversation. We met and they asked us a bunch of questions about the town, and then we did a little tour and walk around. So that was great, and they're gonna be producing a report for us. And what I think is really helpful, shoot, did I bring all my notes? They are going to be helping us. They don't wanna just like give us a plan and have it sit on a shelf. So they wanna help us secure funding for the recommendations that they make. Yeah, right, which is great. It's the EDA, which is the Economic Development Authority Association something, apparently has implementation grants. And it's the EDA that funds like Rista's position at the like, I don't exactly know.
It's a part of DECD.
Yeah.
It's a subset, it's a subdivision of DECD.
So the process was to you know, present a report of some suggestions of things that we could do to make sure that we're maintaining our town center and providing an environment that is conducive to supporting our businesses, which is really what we've always been trying to do. And then they want to help us secure the funding for that, and then advise on the implementation and then evaluate it. So 4 phases, I mean, that's a long term, but you know, we'll see what comes of it. I'm hopeful that we'll
Sounds
learn
like they're
something.
into it for the long run then, if they're
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Right.
It's pretty good.
I agree.
Well, this guy had been doing this for a while, not with CT Main Street, but wasn't he planner in wall water barriers or?
Yeah.
He.
Maybe somewhere larger.
That's a
Yeah,
level
yes,
up.
This wasn't his first rodeo.
Yeah.
He, you know, he definitely had some relevant experience, so.
Yeah,
That's valuable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he felt that we were doing a pretty good job in a lot of what we've already started. Like we kind of have the idea. We just
Yeah, especially once he learned we didn't have any public transportation, public water, or public sewer. His eyes got really big at that point.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah.
Hey, Michelle, when are the reports due? back?
I'm trying to remember if he said when they were doing like 24 visits.
He was in the midst of visiting like all 19 towns in the cog, I think.
Yeah,
Cause this was arranged by Rista, right?
yeah,
So he was going to hit all 19 towns in the cog, and I think we were like number 9 or 10. I mean, we were like halfway, so
Yeah, they were
he may
doing-
not have even hit all of them yet. I mean, I think he was gonna wait until he did them all, and then, cause I think he's trying to coordinate it through the cog.
yeah,
Because I think she probably wants to disseminate it once it's all done. I mean, I would think that's that way.
possible.
Well, if I were her, I'd at least want to see all 19 before
Oh,
they
sure,
went
sure.
out, so.
Yeah, well, and that was because Rista's the one who got the grant to do this
Right.
evaluation.
Yeah, they're paying for
And,
it.
they're looking for commonalities where they can then help us, maybe fund regionally or, apply as a group.
Yeah,
for
strength in
specific-
numbers, so,
Exactly.
yeah.
Better shot
exactly.
of getting the money.
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
so she's really looking at all of that, which reminds me, so I am a member of the Northwest Cogs EDC. And was assigned, we got to choose the committees
Oh,
that most.
Did you miss a meeting?
No, I didn't.
They made you president?
So I was
That never
assigned
happened
to
to me.
they created
Happened to
working
me.
groups.
Yeah.
And I get, no, they were assigned working groups and you got to
Oh,
write down your interests. And so I'm on the state tourism working group,
you're welcome.
which, Fran,
Right.
you're not on mute.
Okay, so what time shall I meet you?
Let me see if I can mute her.
Yeah, I do.
I can. So, I'm meeting next week with this working group and the goal of, the goal of the group is to really figure out how we, and as the Northwest Corner, can tie into all of the stuff that's already happening with Connecticut tourism and the state, because they're
Mm.
spending tons of money on the website and advertising. So just making sure that we're linking in everywhere that
Mhm.
we can, so.
Well,
Um,
hopefully, Explore Washington's giving us some linkage already, right?
Oh,
I mean,
huge. It's
that's what I
actually
mean.
almost embarrassing. I think I've put this out when we
Yeah.
had Explore here, but. Yeah, so if you go to Western Connecticut or Litchfield Hills on CT Visit, which gets millions of visits. If you go to Litchfield Hills, on the front page, at least last month, there are, I don't know, maybe 9 boxes and like 4 or 5 of them are us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Institute,
Yeah.
American Indian Institute is
Well,
there. Well, something about
that's-
the lake,
This is what happens when you have somebody curating your site.
yes,
This is, it's
yes.
like, that's it.
It's huge.
It makes all the difference.
It does, because also, Explore, they do such a great job with the photography,
Yeah, I know.
choosing.
Well, it's just that
Unbelievable.
they just stay on top of it. I mean, just that alone.
Yes.
It's like,
Well, and we've been hooking it, because I'm also a member of the Western Connecticut. I'm not a member, I attend their meetings of the Western Connecticut Tourism, they sort of divided the state. It's weird, we meet quarterly. So they kind of just give me the latest, who to be sending things to. So at Explore, they are continually sending stuff in like a season ahead. Because that's what they're
Mhm.
looking for, they're looking for fall pictures now,
right,
so. And they'll send out the requests and Explore grabs and, sends in a blurb and.
Sounds like it's a whole ecosystem tied
is.
together. Yeah.
It is, and it's ever changing,
Yeah.
just when I feel like I'm getting it, but they restructure, like they completely restructured the tourism. Division of economic development. They had some personnel changes and they kind of,
Mhm.
and they had hired out some portions of it, so I'm still, just when I feel like I got it, it changes, so
It's
that's
like
why.
like boot camp training.
Yeah.
It's like,
Keep you on your toes.
keep going to the meetings and then I forward along, if there's ever a new contact or whatever, I forward along to Julia at Explore and. They also go to a lot of those meetings, so. So yeah, so we're tied in, definitely tied in. All right, next thing I just wanted to mention, I just got a letter last week that we did not receive the connectivity grant for the tightest sidewalks again, which is very frustrating to me. I know, yes, right, Robin? So I emailed Craig, who is sort of oversees it, and we had a debriefing meeting with him for round one. And they did not let us update our application for round two. They just, I think what they had done is they had just ranked all the applications. Gave out as much money as they had, waited for the second tranche, and then just kept going, so they didn't have to reread anything.
What I
So,
would
I mean, I get it. So I emailed him to ask if we were gonna be able to update the application for the next round. Cause it said, please, we encourage you to continue to apply. We believe in these projects, and as the money becomes available, we will fund, which is great. And he didn't exactly say yes, but he kind of told me the timing on it, but I want to work on being ready for that because the applications will be, I think he said that like, towards the end of this year for the beginning of next year. So coming up. And then I emailed Rista and Casey at the COG. Casey is the transportation person. Because one of the things that we got on the as feedback was that if we had a complete streets plan, we would have gotten more points. And so I was like, so I was been looking at, like, what is a complete street plan? It's,
I know what it
that's,
is.
I do too, and I've
Oh.
done some training, that's a big lift.
Yeah, and
So,
complete
asked-
streets plan, is that how they prioritize that
so
going through there?
complete streets is like a philosophy,
Yeah.
and you'll
mhm,
you'll see it as you drive around, especially in bigger cities where all of a sudden. Bike lanes that are painted green appear and median and sort of interesting pedestrian safety islands and stuff like, it's all about pedestrian safety, bike safety. So making streets not just for cars.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
more clearly delineated crosswalk
Crosswalks, yeah,
and reconfigured, yeah. ADA compliant, every crosswalk is ADA compliant.
oh, yeah,
There's a whole punch
There's a
list
lot,
of stuff, and it's
yeah.
like, it's.
I went to one or two of the trainings because we got sustainability points for it, but it was interesting, it was
Yeah.
very interesting. But it's a big lift. for
Planning commission looked at
it's
that
big dollars
briefly,
too, to do.
yeah,
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 A real
it's,
plan involves engineers and
Right.
stuff, so.
yeah.
So I asked them, hey, any advice on this? I did see that the capital region, capital region COG, what do they call it?
Yeah,
Right? Whatever their acronym is,
Mhm.
has one as a region. And I was wondering if like, as a region, we had one that I could then use it, so we could all use it?
I doubt we do, I mean,
No,
in
or if
19
they could make one?
I don't see how, I
I
mean,
don't know.
there's 90 miles of road
Yeah, I
in
know,
Washington
you're right.
alone.
you're
know,
thinking of something can, but you
I
can't.
am kind of
I
thinking
agree
of
with you,
like-
it'd be tough.
Like regional, rural, because
Mm.
most of it does not really apply to rural
It doesn't, it's not,
environments.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
our biggest business district here has basically 4 roads. 5 roads.
Right, and
So,
we
I
don't have
mean,
traffic lights, we don't have,
yeah, it's,
So that's, I mean, there are some other places where we can improve the application. And
I don't think that's it.
I need to check in with Jim because we had the engineers that we usually work with, Cardinal, that had done
Mhm.
the tightest plan. We had them working on just the stretch of sidewalk that went on 47 and, well, I mean, the roads turn is 109, 47, anyway,
Mhm.
around
Basically, the
have
tightest block.
the
yeah,
tightest block.
Yeah,
because that is all state road and they suggested that it would be easier to go to DOT because we need encroachment permits and all that to go once, like go with a full plan. And it's hard, it's so hard, because we want to just start there because there's no sidewalk and it's one of the busiest crosswalks that goes to nowhere. And or goes to like it's not compliant, so, but there's a telephone pole, there's the Marty's sidewalk, which is not ADA compliant because of the pitch, there's like, it's involved. So, and, you know, it seems
Yeah.
straightforward but until you dive into it.
Yeah, the planning commission looked briefly, this was back at the last plan of it. Stuff, and we just like, it's not designed with small hamlets like ours in mind. It's,
Oh, complete streets?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah, we took a look at it because we thought, oh, it'll be, you know.
It sounds like a big dive.
Well, it's,
Yeah.
if we were, maybe if we were as big as maybe Woodbury. You might be able to pull off something, you know, cause
Right,
there's
right.
there's an actual main drag there and, you know, but it's.
I was thinking about it, I was picking up some signs this morning in New Milford and down Route 7 south or 202, whatever
Mhm.
it is right there. They're paving, but they're also putting in sidewalks.
Yeah, they got a grant. They got a big grant to put in
Yeah,
sidewalks.
which is fantastic. So, and the last go around of connectivity, all the grants went to much larger towns.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume that that's it. But part of what they said in the feedback was the readiness was an issue. So if we can get encroachment permits, if we can get drawings that are, if we can get the process a little further or closer to shovel ready.
Yeah,
we
stage
get-
2 engineering. Right now, we have basically stage 1.
We have concepts.
Yeah, we have
we don't
conceptual
have-
drawings.
we
We're
don't
not
have-
even in stage 1 yet.
No.
Yeah.
We have concept drawings,
Yeah, they're
so,
probably gonna want to see stage 2 before we would seriously
But
consider.
that sounds like you really have to fork up some dough to do that.
yeah,
With
so,
engineering.
so we already,
Yeah.
you know, to have the engineers do what they're doing right now in order to apply for these encroachment permits, I forget how much it was, but that was already a big chunk of change. But we have money in our sidewalk capital non-recurring fund.
Mhm.
And we're committed to starting without state money. And we're hoping that. Because you know, the whole thing. Was like 1.6 million to do the
Yeah.
parking, to do the whole kit and caboodle, so we're gonna just start chipping away at it one section at a time. And hopefully the state will see that commitment to the plan.
Well, that's typically how it's done anyway. Basically, you have to spend it and then they reimburse you. So.
Yeah.
It's like we have to set aside the money anyway,
Right,
because that's how all the state funding grants work. Basically, once they approve.
You gotta
the
show your
grant,
into it.
you have
Yeah.
to, well, not only do you have to have skin,
Committed.
not only do you have to have skin in the game, you have to actually show that you can actually do it
Yeah,
yourselves, and then they'll give you the money and reimburse.
well, and
the
those
portion.
checks
That's-
don't
to
come.
show
quickly.
more than good
No,
faith.
yeah, yeah, those checks, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that. I'm gonna do
that's just how it works.
it. Yeah,
so, yeah, so that's where that is, I'll keep you all posted. But I'm gonna try to keep moving that forward. As best I can.
yeah,
You know?
that's a big task, sounds
Just-
like to me.
Just keep pushing the rock, it's all
Yeah.
you can do.
Right,
You just keep
up the
pushing it.
hill,
As-
up
as-
the hill.
Well, it's just, it's not, it's like, it's okay if it's going down, it's just, as long as you got the rock moving, and as long as it's moving in the general
Yeah,
direction you
not
want it to
going
move.
backwards.
And the last thing you wanna do is have it go the other end, so just keep it moving in the same general direction, and eventually it's gonna get to where you want it to go.
I hope
That's the best you can do.
That's all I
It's-
can do.
Good
That's all I
one.
can
We're
do.
gonna take a picture of it like this.
Yeah,
There's the rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right, so any questions on any of the
Oh, well.
stuff that I've been kind of working on these last couple weeks?
you got your hands full.
Always, always. All right, so let's talk about depot parking. We talked a lot about that last month. And Jim weighed in on that as well because.
We talked about it with the CT Main Street guys
We
too.
did, and so that was interesting because this was some great feedback. So visitors to our town,
Mhm.
they were meeting us here at Town Hall. Rista did not see the blue parking sign that I have down here, because it's high enough on the pole that it's behind the tree. So she didn't know where to park.
Oh.
So I went to look to see if I can move it without having to bug Kevin, and it looks like I can, I just need some pliers. I wasn't sure if they had like safety screw, like specialty things, so they're tamper proof, but it looks like I could
Yeah,
tamper.
thread locked, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I wanna move that down so it's below the leaf line so that you see it as you're driving
Why don't we
along the
just prune the
plaza.
trees?
Hmm?
Why don't we just prune the tree?
It's those baby trees. Those baby trees that are barely living, the ones that were planted in the plaza that have not grown yet. Like, they're barely hanging on, I don't know what the deal is anyway, so I'll just move it down a little, and then as the tree hopefully gets taller. We'll have to move it back up. We'll see. But what I did do, and we had talked about this last time, I have my examples here. So I went and met with Judy Black Park, because it's really the farmer's market that seems to be the issue. We looked at some different, like, parking sign options. Storage is an issue, who puts them out, where do we keep them? But, so we came up with these two signs. They're yard signs. Oh, and I keep saying these, and I'm, here, wait, if I stand right here, will the. All right, come on, Owl, follow me. Owl. It's not following my voice. Why are you not following my voice? There you
now
are,
it
there you
is.
are, okay.
There you go.
So these are the parking signs. I'm trying to get them on camera. They are the yard signs, and so what Kutil, who works at Judy Black Park, is gonna put them out for the farmer's market. So this additional parking behind Town Hall will go right in the median, right at the beginning, right? So that cars see it.
Mhm.
The additional parking for Titus Road, still struggling with the best spot to put it. I don't wanna put it in the middle of Barbara Blier's flowers. But we'll find a
Put it in the
spot.
yard right behind it.
Yep, we could put it in the grass right behind it. That's town property.
Yeah.
We could even put it like in the grass near Marty's, or just on the other side, like in the grass.
Yeah, I know what you're talking, yeah.
Or on the Sotheby's side, so that people see that there is a big blue P with an arrow on the street sign for Titus. But I guess people just don't see it. I don't know. But, so I had these two signs made. I already have two of these at Judy Black. So they're gonna put them out for farmers markets. And then I made these two extra ones for big events like Harvest Fest, or if, who knows, if something's happening here, a wedding, a big opening. I was even thinking of maybe I could have one of these at WA. In case they're having a big event, they could stick it in the grass there. So it's a start, but I thought we could talk about, and we could just see how that goes, and if that's adequate.
Is that double sided?
No.
Yeah, is that, can you see?
No, I did not have them made double sized, so people,
No,
they have specific spots, like this is gonna go,
so then
In
the
the
it's only the traffic's only looking at it from that direction?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
so there's.
Well, that makes sense because 90% of the people pulling into the plaza are gonna pull in and see
Yeah.
that.
Right,
You know,
Right,
it's like,
yeah.
the 10% who don't already live here and they know where the parking
you already
is.
know.
Right.
it is,
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, so yeah, so I went small, I only had 4 signs made. I can also have just parking, additional parking and arrows, like that aren't specific to Titus and Town Hall, so we
That's
could
it.
put them wherever we want. We had talked about that as an EDC thing for events. I just keep them in my office, and
Yeah,
if somebody has an event.
let's see, well, we've got like another month or so to run this as a trial run because you know, I mean, I know the farmer's market goes technically till November or whatever, but realistically, they got about another month or so,
Yeah,
where they're gonna
busy.
where they're gonna be really busy. It's
Yeah.
like, so we've got a month to do like a trial run and see if, you know, if it works.
Yeah.
Draws.
Even if it works a little bit,
Yeah,
what, a couple signs, big deal.
Yeah,
It's like-
right,
it's-
right,
I
so
mean, it's pocket change.
they're not that expensive enough that I wanna lose that, and I'm gonna hold on to
Yeah,
it,
but I'm saying, but
It's,
the-
yeah,
the-
low bar here.
yeah, and. You know, the risk reward ratio is good.
Right,
you know,
yes,
yeah.
if it didn't work in that spot, we can move it.
Yeah, and
Right,
if it's a total
temporary.
flop, it's not like we're out $5,000.
No, Right. So yeah, so we're gonna try that. Also, one thing that I forget his name, the guy who did the tour with us,
Oh, yeah.
suggested. I looked at the map in our guidebook, and we did not have parking listed, that these 2 municipal lots listed on the map there. So I've already emailed that over to Julia. We're gonna update the online, we've got an update in the works for the guidebook. We don't have the money to print right now. Because that was a
Budget
WBA. Well, it was also because they are sponsored a lot of, you get a lower price if you do a big
Bigger
order.
run, yeah,
And then the realtors and the schools all
wanted,
each did, 500 or 1,000. And
and
they aren't out yet, but
Yeah,
so anyway, I'm not completely out, I'm close though. So hopefully before next summer, this winter, spring,
Okay.
we'll be gearing up for a reprint, we'll see. So, we're gonna start sending stuff, but there's no reason that she can't update the online one. So,
okay,
which is what the QR code brings you to explore.
right, okay.
Right, and I was also thinking, we've been meaning to update the QR code that we have around the depot, the little signs for the Washington Free Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
We never went back and updated with the Welcome Center information. And it was getting wordy, but then I was also thinking, and parking, I don't know.
Well, right now, the QR code takes you to Explore Washington, right?
Yeah.
So to the homepage.
To the homepage.
Right.
Yep,
Well, we could, it's not very hard to take it to the map.
true.
That's just, you just change the route, you just change the link, the routing link. And maybe it's more advantageous, if maybe we change the QR codes in the district. So that when they click it, it pops onto it goes to the site, but it goes to the page where the map is.
Right.
They're like, oh, look, a map, great. It's like,
Interesting.
True.
Which actually the map
Good
is a
point.
little buried. It's in the electronic version of the guidebook. It's not like its own thing and it's
Right.
at the back of the guidebook. So, I don't know. I wonder if that would be useful.
Talk to Julia.
I'll talk to
I mean,
Julia.
I know, I know for them to do it is easy,
Right,
but she may, she's done this longer than we have, and she may be like, that's really not what you wanna do, and here's why.
right.
And so, I mean, I would
Well,
defer to her, but,
I'll also check in with Liz, Fran, maybe if she, I don't know, if she's there.
she is,
Okay, great. When people are walking around, if they're new to town, they often check in with either Liz or the bookstore, so to
Mhm.
see if the map it would be useful, if that's. If they're getting to explore or they're picking up our guidebook, is that? I guess it couldn't hurt, so there's,
again, I think that's a good question for Julia,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she would. She might go, oh, that's a great idea, or she might be like, oh, no, you don't wanna do that, and
yep.
trust me, and here's why, I don't know.
Just out of curiosity, when you get if you got the map, when you click on the map, can you click to get more information? In other words, does it home in on it? Anything
Like a
else?
Google Maps, right?
Yeah.
No, it's
It
basically just a PDF.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
not an interactive.
It just
Yeah.
pulls up the PDF.
Yeah, it's not interactive.
Mhm.
The other
Oh,
thing I was gonna ask Julia about and get her recommendation. I had a look at it. I wanted to have print the little blue P signs for parking lots on like clear sticky paper to add to the map that's in the Welcome Center. Cause I don't wanna reprint it. It was not cheap, but maybe I could update it. And it was funny, cause when I sent that to Julia, she emailed back and said, and should we do one for New Preston? I don't have a lot, really, but we have talked about letting
Yeah.
people know about the lot, the parking up by Nick Platt Field. It's not that long a walk, and there is actually a sidewalk going down Church Street.
There
But-
is, yeah.
So we could add that. That would be useful, because nobody knows it's up there, and parking in New Preston's horrible.
It's impossible.
Yeah,
And it's gonna stay impossible,
yeah.
unless one of the buildings falls into the river and we make it into a parking. The short of that. It's just, I mean. All you gotta do is walk around New Preston,
No,
it's
it
just
is
like,
bad.
you
It's a
know,
little dangerous too, actually.
totally.
more than a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, more than a little.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and we went through that meticulously when we
Yeah.
were working on the sidewalk project, trying to figure out what we could do in DOT, because it's a state road,
Yes,
Mhm.
nixed some of our
of course they did.
ideas,
I'm surprised they let us do anything.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so the fact that we got to get some of, the fact that we got some of it was actually quite a victory.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree, so,
Especially with the DOT
Oh,
involved.
yeah, it's like that's the, you know. Yeah.
yeah, so. Anyway, so that's where we are from the parking in the depot. Everybody, eyes open, you know, if you're in the depot on a Saturday, hopefully this
Mhm.
will help
Those
alleviate.
are good though. I mean, they're very visible.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I cut through here every Saturday morning on my way to the farmer's market, so I'll just kind of stop at the, you know, at the florist and kind of see if people.
Yeah.
I'll do my very unscientific survey.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was thinking about the signage, you know, when people are looking, I should just sit there one day and watch people looking for
Yeah.
parking, because you get to the end of the plaza, and I'm wondering if they U-turn. Is it only locals that know you can exit out onto River there? Or,
No, I think
Because-
most of them know, because they know you can park on River Road. But usually River Road's taken up by a lot of the folks who work. here,
because
so-
I could put one of the additional parking Titus Road there along River as you exit the plaza. Although one car parked in front of it and you wouldn't see it anymore. I guess I'd have to get it. I have to think about the.
Well, no,
location.
when you'd have to get it on the corner, because, you know, there's no parking once you get a certain point closer to Barbara Boyer's place. You know, there's no
Yeah,
parking.
yeah, right.
So if you placed it like at the corner, you know, like that, and then this one like that, you know, maybe I don't know, you
I'm
could.
not sure. I'm not sure really if you come into,
Mm.
you know, we all live here, so we don't know. So I have to like watch to see
Yeah,
where people
there
go.
are people who actually get degrees in this stuff.
I know.
I'm not one of them.
No, you're just a test case.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be a fly on the wall, I'm just gonna like sit there and
We'll
just.
just watch. So anybody in the, you know, collect your anecdotal evidence for us, and we'll just keep working on the signage. All right, let's move on, because we could talk about that forever. New business, we've got the Harvest Fest coming up October 13th from 12 to 5. We always have a table there. It's a long day, but I wanted to let you know that the Arts Council is committed to being there as well and want to share a table with us, which is great because that's more manpower. And they are very excited and amped up, and Abdo is gonna bring his mojitos and some little cups to be handing out, so.
Oh, like little specimen cup shot glasses. of
Little,
mojitos,
little,
it's like,
little,
oh,
to
that's-
create,
That'll encourage attendance.
it absolutely will, it absolutely,
Well,
I
it
mean,
makes time.
if you went to the block party, or if you go to Holiday in the Depot,
Mhm.
anybody handing out food or drink gets better attendance and they stay longer. So, and even though it's a long day, those of us who have done it, we always end up connecting with at least a handful of brand new residents. They go home with a newsletter, with a guidebook.
I'm always
and-
amazed at how many people show up to it.
Oh,
It's
it's crazy.
it's amazing how many people show up.
Yeah.
I,
So it's a
cool.
long day, but I think it's worth it. We usually get at least a list, you know, a page of people signing up for the selectmen's email. So we have until October, so we have next month as well. I want you all to think about what we can do to make it more interesting. I mean, I've got all the visuals, I've got the brochure, you know, the
Mhm.
holders and the signage and all of that, so, if we wanna bring. I don't know, if you can think of some kind of food, I often will have candy there for the kids, it's easy for me to buy that, I don't feel like baking dozens of cookies, but, I mean, I suppose a Costco run could be made for little muffins or so, I don't know, let's just think about.
Okay.
What does the EDC wanna do, so we often do a raffle for, you enter, if you give us your email. maybe somebody else could help me it'd be nice to put together like a basket of goodies. Actually, I could talk to the WBA, maybe like one of the welcome baskets that they're doing for new homeowners. You know, a bag. Liz often will donate
Welcome
one of
wagon
those.
type of thing.
Hmm?
Like a welcome wagon.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
so maybe,
So
yeah.
what's the art council gonna do? They're gonna have like jugglers and plate spinners and.
The art council.
Wait, I thought you'd be good with the don't tag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, so the Arts Council is working on sponsoring an artist to create a scarecrow for
Oh,
the
that's
Harvest
good.
Fest. And we're looking into some kind of interactive either music or art performance type thing. So, yep, they're definitely been thinking about it. Yeah, so I will check in on that. And if anybody, so it's October 13th, mark your calendar. If you're able to come and hang out for an hour or two, that would be fantastic. If we all did an hour, then nobody has to stay the whole time. Just saying. And the Arts Council's gonna be there as well. So, you know, it's nice to have like two people there so you can keep each other's company, but
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be slacking on the arts council, I just. You know, decades in the performing arts, you know, that they're the big arts. There's the big organization called APAP, the Association of Performing Arts Professionals.
oh, okay.
And they have their convention every year in January in New York City, and. With my group is actually, we've done like showcases where you, our manager years ago,
Yeah.
our manager used to, she used to rent the penthouse of a hotel. Where the convention was, and she would invite high rollers up to basically private concerts. So, and we heard like us and some of our other, we would all show up and we'd all play like a 15-minute set, just like a real show. And then, of course, they're being plied with booze and food, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like if one of them books you, it's
Worth it all.
and so,
Right.
but we used to always joke every January, oh yeah, we have to go to the plate spinners convention.
Yes.
Funny you should say that because at our last Arts Council meeting, Simon, who's the executive director at WA,
Mhm.
shared a contact for somebody who's semi-local, like a couple towns over. Who's a puppeteer, but it's like life size, it's not
Mm.
little puppets, it's something.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, which could be also really cool, like walking around. The depot usually, for Holiday in the Depot, they usually have stilt walker,
Mhm.
a juggler.
We said, well,
Yeah.
APAP is like this, but inside and like, you've got
Crazy.
stilt walkers, you've got plates, you've got, you know, animal acts, you've got, I mean, you've got the whole, I mean, it's just.
Well, we wanted to try to support local artists as much as possible, so we won't be visiting the New York APAP, but.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah, cool, good to know. So anyway, think about that. That's all I have for Harvest Fest, unless you all have questions. No, alright, Fran, do you wanna report, I don't know if the WBA has met since we last met?
Haven't met, can you hear me?
Yeah.
When my computer is making strange noises, so I'm using my phone, which I have not used for a Zoom meeting before, so bear with me, and I'm sorry I've been bouncing in and out all over the place. I've just been trying to make it work. WBA has a board meeting tomorrow morning. We have not met since the last time we met. So obviously the Harvest Festival is high on the agenda. We'll also be talking about our website and, you know, I will report back on the sidewalks and the unfortunate news about the sidewalks and also your meeting with the people taking the tour of the town, the COG people.
Also, and the parking, just let them know we've got some signage going up and we're gonna keep working on trying to alleviate that, because I know that, you know, weekend parking has been an issue.
I think in terms of the guidebooks, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that we won't be reprinting until next year because I'm out. And, you know, I mean, I think there are very few of them in town at this point.
So I'll bring you some, Fran. I don't have tons, but I do have some. And, yeah, I don't know how close we are to a reprint because I don't know if it was Lisa or Liz told me that the WBA didn't have money in the bank. I think the WBA ordered like 2,000. And who was it? Was it Ravis or Sotheby's had extras?
Yeah, Liz has been getting them from, Sotheby's. Um, and we can ask tomorrow morning at the meeting who else might have
Yeah.
a surplus, but, you know, if they have not been able to distribute the huge quantities that they ordered, I mean, in a couple of cases, it was 1,000, 1,500, then they're not going to be ordering the same quantity in the time.
Sure.
So, you know, it's sort of a, well, I'm not quite sure how it's all gonna come together, but it is such a valuable thing to give to people who are coming into town.
I did ask Ravis to check to see if how many they had left and they said they'd go look in the basement and then kind of forgot about it. So I'll send like a formal request to.
And the
each-
schools do their like proprietary ones, don't they? Don't
Yeah, yeah, no,
they-
Yeah,
This was-
Rumsey had them and Frederick Gunn had them.
Yeah, and they did them with like their own stuff on the
Right.
back.
Well,
Right.
and that was true too for Ravis and Sotheby's.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize they
Yeah.
did that. too.
They
I knew
got
this-
them imprinted, yeah, and Posh,
They personalize them with their stuff.
Posh pads.
Yeah,
Flashback,
yeah,
yeah.
Posh Pads did theirs too, so that a good number were taken, in that way.
I'll try to dig down into that. I want to just make sure we're ready for the reprint. As soon as the money's in the bank or the people are ready to do it. The reprint is not going to be a complete revamp, but just an update of
Update, sure.
of the businesses that have come and gone.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the layout. There's no
Oh,
need to
no.
reinvent the wheel.
And then the last one, we added 2 pages. We added the Gilmore Girls
Mhm.
page and I think something had just bled onto the second page. So, you know, just one. So I think we're good. And we added to the maps and we added more locations and a couple more roads like river so people could
Mhm.
find Steep Rock, stuff like that. So I think we're good there. So it's a small update. So at some point, we'll all go through, make sure we verified the businesses. Actually, I was going through checking to make sure that the websites and the links all work, because sometimes people update that or they change something and then it's no
Right.
good, so. Yeah, so that just, you know, takes a little time on our side, but isn't a huge layout issue. So we'll get that ready to go, so as soon as we're ready to print, we've got it.
Okay,
You also mentioned Gilmore Girls, and I just want to tell you all that, I mean, the Gilmore Girls is still a very, very hot item. I mean, we see lots and lots of people a week. I don't think I would be underestimating it if I said we probably saw 40 to 50 people a week.
Oh my God.
I completely
pretty
agree.
good.
I went to the outdoor movie on Friday night and met 2 women having their 40th birthday party from Kentucky and Tennessee. Gilmore Girls, they were doing Washington that day, they were gonna do New Milford the next day, and like.
Yeah, and people are making, you know, Connecticut tours. I mean, the actual Gilmore Girls Festival is in Guilford this fall, in October. But I don't think we'll stop seeing them coming all the way through the fall. And they continue to be really, really nice people.
I agree. So just to throw this out into the universe one more time, I think I did, but not everybody was in the meeting, but. Kent Burnham, who is a member of the Arts Council and is the director of drama up at FGS. Has a loose connection, knows the guy who played the troubadour in Gilmore Girls. And I looked him up, he
Okay.
performs, he's still doing his thing, he's a songwriter. And so he was thinking of seeing if they could get him to come to the FGS theater as a fundraiser. And I was thinking EDC WBA could tag in with some other activities to see if we can make it a draw, not a full festival, but you know, maybe there's a tea at the Mayflower, or there's, you know, we could open up town hall and have like a mock town hall meeting, or a knitting circle, that's another thing from Gilmore
Mhm.
Girls, I don't knit, but somebody, you know, we could find, you know, there's Star Hollow yarns down the road, they could come.
Could have come to my last planning meeting, that was a Gilmore Girls town meeting.
I know.
Oh, my goodness.
So I feel like, you know, there might be an opportunity to kind of create a mini itinerary. So that people who would wanna come to the Troubadour would have a few more things to do. So planting the seed, Ken said he was gonna try to reach out to him just to see what, you know, if that could work. So. just letting
Okay.
you know.
Hey, Michelle, is the guidebook, digital as well?
Yes,
Um,
Yeah.
if you do, just an idea, if you do run out of the run out of that, print copy, can maybe you want to put a QR code with a sign on various store counters saying if they don't have the print copy, they can just scan the QR code and it'd take them right to the digital copy.
right, so the QR code to this, so I'm pulling it up here and now I've made it full screen and I can't control my Zoom. So I'm gonna share screen. All right, do you all see my screen here?
No.
No?
Yes,
No,
Yeah, there you go.
Can you see the Explore Washington?
Yeah.
Guidebook?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm gonna exit full screen so you can see where it is. It's on Explore Washington. It's under Plan Your Visit.
mhm.
And then you go down over here to download the guide, and this is the digital, it's very small if you do it in this format, but. If I enlarge the screen, I can't see you all, so.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So this is the guidebook, and I'll just show you the maps are at. The end, let's see. So we added roads to the big map, and then we added blow-ups of the depot and New Preston so that. And this is actually, it folds out this map in the print version. Yeah, so that's what it is, and. Yeah,
So I'm just saying, you know, if you run out, and it's better than nothing if you just have a little small sign on a counter as you're checking out or something.
agreed. Yeah, and yeah, right now the QR code brings you to the Explore Washington homepage.
Mhm.
But we could think about it bringing you to the guidebook. We wanted people to be able to see the events, but once you're in
Can
the
you get
guidebook, you can get back
separate
out.
QR code, or how does that work? A separate QR code for just the guidebook?
We can make a second one. The QR code, like, so the QR code that we have right now, which is on the sign outside and for parking and is, you know, on all the storefronts. I'm
Yeah.
gonna blow this up once. It's this one, and it
Mhm.
brings you to the homepage of Explore Washington.
Yeah.
But I suppose we could create a second one that's just called guidebook. I think you can even put the words right in there, you know, where we have this symbol, we could say guidebook.
Yeah.
And,
If we're gonna do that, then you should just have three. You should have the site, you should have the guidebook, and you should have the map.
Map.
Sometimes people
Map
sometimes
right up.
people want a map.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah.
oh, look, QR code says map. Click.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good
okay,
point.
okay, I hear that.
I mean,
Let me
Yeah.
talk to Julia.
I mean, she might think it's overkill. I mean, I would defer to her because she knows more about this than.
Well, and they know, they have the stats on how people use this
Right,
website.
yeah, she would actually know what they're
But
doing.
it is interesting, it is buried here, this map, and
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful, so maybe, let's go to the homepage
Because the
here.
map is really key, I think.
So here's our homepage, and so maybe. Whether it's part of the menu up here or one of these little circles that says map, like, like, no matter where you are on the website, if you could always just. click
Yeah,
to the
plus you gotta
map.
remember too, the vast majority of people aren't seeing it like this, they're seeing it on their phone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And so what we may think is. Well, looking here, what we may think is whatever, it might not be as intuitive.
Alright.
On a small
On a
handheld
phone,
device.
true. So I
So-
just scrolled, here's the homepage, I scrolled, plan your visit. And then here are 5 villages and it's got the full map.
Mhm.
So it's there on the homepage,
Okay,
but I wouldn't say it's buried, but
Well-
it's not front and center.
let's talk to Julia, I mean, like I said, she'll know. She'll know who's clicking on what,
Yeah,
and she'll be like, people aren't actually going here for the map.
Yeah,
And, just
right,
because
but
we
they're
think,
already here.
yeah, I mean, maybe what we think is intuitive isn't so, I mean. She'll have numbers,
Yeah, she will,
so
She
she'll be
will.
able to,
we'll talk to her, and,
she knows
and
the
if she's
human
got
factor
questions,
element of
you know, maybe,
yeah.
maybe I'll have her come to the next meeting, if, if.
well,
we
she's
wanna-
due to come pretty soon anyway, right? Doesn't she come every?
Yeah, spring and fall usually,
Yeah, so yeah. She doesn't have to come for this. I mean, if she wants to dial in on a Zoom real quick and that's fine, but
she usually zooms in, she
Yeah.
doesn't come in person,
so,
so I'll see what she says.
The other thing, I was wondering. This may be a crazy idea, but just right in the depot, is it possible to put a display? That they can literally touch screen the display?
Whoa,
I
whoa.
mean, it's getting a little heavy, I know, but.
It's-
Oh, we
and then-
talked about this.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did?
Robin
Oh, really?
loved that idea.
Oh,
and
I
the
think it's-
People,
why?
they didn't even want a kiosk, man.
Oh,
But just a display that you just
Oh.
step up to and
You're preaching to the
you
choir.
get the map. You get the map, you get all the information right there.
You have to understand, there's a lot of.
So,
Politics and
No, it's not even, it's just, there's a big contingent in town, that, where all change is bad.
I
Yeah,
don't
really?
think- I think it's a vocal.
It's a vocal contingent. It's
Yes,
just-
I
Oh,
think
really?
it's a small but vocal contingent of longtime residents who feel that way. However,
Mhm.
I just thought. This is one of those projects that we've talked about that it's like, I don't even know how to tackle it or where to start, but we have talked about. Putting a sign out at the end of the plaza,
Mhm.
like a directory sign, like they have for Titus.
Yeah,
And those are allowed by zoning. Because WA has asked me, because nobody knows the art associations down there, nobody knows the markets
Yeah.
down there, it would have it would just be like listings. And I almost wonder if we could have like a hard copy of the map, like a weatherproof.
yeah, like a picture frame weatherproof type of thing with the
Or
map,
just
yeah.
like painted on metal, I
Yeah.
don't know, but like. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful map, or is it on the backside? I don't know. I can't quite wrap my head around it, but I can't tell you how many times I walk. Because I walk in and out of here all the time, and there are all visitors stop and read the blue sign about the history of Washington. I always know they're visitors, because they
Yeah,
stop. and
none of us
that-
read it.
I have, but.
And you had to.
Well, it's all covered in lichen, I actually, worked with Luke to figure out how to get it off, because it was looking really crummy. Anyway, and that's where I found, they were put in by the state historical something, every town has one, I learned all about it. I don't remember what it says, that's just my brain, but anyway, maybe there's a way somehow, well.
Just
even
seems
I have this
logical to me,
sign
but.
on the stone wall out
Yeah.
there. And the wooden oval sign with the QR code says, welcome to Washington, and Washington free Wi-Fi with the QR code. Maybe we can make a hard copy of the map, I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems to me that, I mean, the QR code is fine, because people will use it, some of them. But having the actual map and having
Somewhere.
some information,
Well, it's
just
in
even
the
like you
welcome
said,
center. It's
a
in the welcome
picture of the
center,
map
but
somewhere.
not everybody finds
Yeah.
their way over there.
Yeah, and then on the, you could do all kinds of things with that, just even having the map itself. You can then point them to the QR codes, or
Right.
whatever, whatever you want. really.
Mhm. Well, if we get those sidewalks in at Titus, I'm just thinking there's a nice space in front of Hickory Stick too, you know how they have. when you're on walks and it's
Mhm.
outdoor, like a, it's not a kiosk, which is completely vertical, it's more like waist level, kind of
Yeah,
an informational. And it would be a map and it could have store listings or something,
Yeah.
like a directory.
You're talking about state highway property.
I know,
Oh,
So you have to go through that hoop.
oh, boy.
which we're like prepping to do for the sidewalks right now.
Mhm.
I mean, don't say that to anybody, because this could be a 2-year process for all I know.
Yes.
But I don't know. It would be very nice. Other towns manage to do it. I've seen them.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Somehow maybe we can we can get
Sure.
there. I don't know.
Yeah,
The
'cause it seems to
the
me-
welcome center was like a huge hurdle and I felt that was pretty miraculous. And it's pretty hidden. So
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, get some good thoughts and thinking.
Government moves slow. It's designed to move slow.
I know.
It's just, you know,
I know.
that's where, you know, people complain about it. It's like,
It's the fail safe. You gotta build
Founding
consensus.
fathers wanted government to move slow. It's like, so it does. It
does.
It's like,
Yes, it does.
It kind of makes everything else move slow too, as well.
it
Sometimes.
seemed like a good idea at the time,
Yeah.
just like the electoral college. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
It's not politics. Agreed, but no. All right, thank you all. Do we have anything else we want to report out?
My daughter comes home next week,
Well, that's wonderful. That is exciting.
2 years in Europe.
Yeah,
She's
so that is,
home on the 29th.
yay,
Wow,
like home,
Home,
right?
home.
She's gonna be working.
she's home for good?
Home for good, yeah, well, in the United States.
Yeah.
For good, yeah.
Where was she in Europe?
She spent a year in Milan and a
Not
year
bad.
in Nuremberg.
Nuremberg. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. All right, well, if we have no further business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you all. Enjoy this beautiful, lovely weather. Finally,
Yeah.
not hot and not raining.
Well, thank you for everything you do, really. It's a job.